All right, let's get into this. Every now and then you read something that just completely flips your perspective on its head. Today, we're looking at this really fascinating open letter that does just that. It takes a brand that gets a lot of online hate and forces us to see it in a totally new way. It's really a story about our own biases, and it all starts with two little words: I'm sorry.
And boom, there it is, right from the jump. Dear Planet Fitness, I owe you an apology. No messing around. You immediately know this isn't just some standard review. This is a confession, right? A public admission that a long-held opinion was just wrong. It hooks you immediately. You just have to know, what could have possibly happened to cause such a huge change of heart? So who wrote this? Well, he goes by the name Dave the Kayaker. And whatever he experienced, it was so powerful that he felt he had to get online and put this out there for the whole world to see. This wasn't just him changing his mind, This was the beginning of a whole journey to figure out where his ideas went so wrong in the first place.
And here's what's so wild about this whole thing. Where did his original negative opinion even come from? It wasn't because he had a bad workout there. It wasn't from some personal experience. Nope. He flat out admits his entire view was shaped by what he read online, just what some haters have said. It's the classic case of online noise versus actual reality.
Okay, so to really get what's happening here, we have to understand the bias he was coming in with. It's a point of view that was shaped by a very specific and, let's be honest, a very different kind of gym culture. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you have his idea that Planet Fitness isn't a real gym. And on the other, you have his background, a recovering Gold's Gym member. That phrase alone paints such a vivid picture, doesn't it? This is someone who came from that traditional, heavy-lifting, iron-pumping world. For him, Planet Fitness was basically from another planet.
So, what changed? Well, it was a simple invitation. A coworker had one of those Planet Fitness black cards and invited Dave to come along as a guest to the gym in Marlborough, Massachusetts. He went a couple of times, and what he actually saw on the inside, it just completely blew away everything he thought he knew.
So one of the first myths that just crumbled was this idea that you couldn't get a serious workout in. Dave points out that he was able to fly 75-pound dumbbells, and that one detail is so important. It completely shuts down the whole narrative that the gym is only for total beginners. Turns out, yeah, you can actually lift heavy there.
And it was way more than just the dumbbells. His whole viewpoint started to shift. He looked around and saw regular people just trying their absolute hardest to get in shape. He realized it was a full gym with pretty much everything you need. And yeah, maybe they didn't have old school squat racks, but the Smith machines they did have, they absolutely get the job done. And all of this for a price that's just ridiculously affordable.
And this is it. This is the big aha moment where it all clicks for him. It's a complete 180. The place he'd been making fun of based on stuff he'd read online was, in his own words, a real gym. The whole journey comes to a head right here. But his epiphany, it went even deeper than just the equipment or the price. He started to understand the entire philosophy of Planet Fitness, its actual mission. He finally got what they were trying to do all along.
And this is the absolute key to the whole thing. Planet Fitness isn't trying to compete with those hardcore powerlifting gyms. They're not going after the crowd that Dave came from. Their goal is to get the average person, the person who's maybe a little intimidated by a typical gym, to just get in the door and start taking their health and fitness seriously.
He realized it's a different monster altogether. So the things that critics always point to as flaws, like where are the super heavy free weights or why no intimidating squat racks, they're not flaws at all. They're very deliberate, strategic choices. They're designed to make the place feel welcoming and non-judgmental for a totally different kind of customer.
All right, you knew it was coming. You can't possibly talk about Planet Fitness without talking about the elephant in the room. The one thing it's most famous for and the most criticized for, the free pizza and bagels. So how on earth did Dave square that circle?
Well, he actually breaks it down in a pretty interesting way. First, he argues that the official U.S. dietary guidelines are kind of based on flawed science anyway, which creates all this confusion about what healthy eating even is. So because of that, he says the responsibility to eat right is on the individual member, not on the gym. It's up to you to figure out what you put in your body.
And look, this argument isn't just him shrugging his shoulders. He genuinely seems to care. He even encourages people to research things like low-carb, high-fat diets. So he's not really defending the pizza itself. He's just saying that in a world where health advice is already so confusing, blaming the gym for offering it is kind of missing the bigger picture.
So,
After dismantling all of his old biases and completely reevaluating the gym's entire purpose, what's the bottom line? Where does Dave the Kayaker land on all this? It's right there, a clear, unambiguous, full-on apology and endorsement. He doesn't just get Planet Fitness now, he actually applauds it. He recognizes that what they offer is a real, legitimate gym at a fair price for people who are genuinely trying to better themselves.
And here's the ultimate proof that he's a true convert. He actually plans to become a paying customer. He's now waiting for a good deal on a Black Card membership so he can have a reliable gym to call home when he's on the road. I mean, going from a hater to a future member, that's the full journey right there.
So Dave's story really leaves us with this one big, fascinating question. It forces us to think beyond just barbells and squat racks. Is a gym's only job to give you equipment? Or does its true value really lie in who it manages to welcome through the door? Something to think about.